Welcome to day 14 of Biblical Affirmations. Today, our topic is about the story that God has given to us. Some of you might think, I don't have a story, but yes, you do. So we'll talk about that in a minute. But first, for those who are joining us for the first time, I want to be sure that you know where to get your study guide from. So there are 3 different options for your study guide. They all are available at thecreatorsclassroom.com. The first option is totally online. You do not have to print out anything. You will find all of the affirmations for each day, the scripture references and links to an online Bible, and the devotional that are available for each day and their links. So all you really need is your own Bible and something to write some notes in. The second option is free. It is a 10-page printable PDF. It is in a calendar format, like you see up here in the right-hand corner, with each day's affirmations, with the scripture references, and the devotional readings and links to those. The third option is a beautiful Biblical Affirmations Journal. It was designed with lovely ladies in mind. It has floral arrangements throughout. Each day you have your affirmation, your scripture. There's plenty of room to write notes. And the devotional reading is also included there with the link to it. At the back of the journal are 8 encouraging scripture cards. They can be cut out, laminated, and then put in prominent places to help you remember some of the affirmations. And there's also a bonus. Each day we will be showing you in our videos a lovely JPEG file, photo file of the affirmation. It's on a floral background, and those will be available to you to use in your own social media if you would like to do that. Today's affirmation is, God uses everything in my life for good. My story matters. That comes from Romans 8:28 and 2 Corinthians 1:4. From Romans, and we know that for those who love God, all things work together for good, for those who are called according to his purpose. And from 2 Corinthians, who, talking about God, comforts us in all our affliction, so that we may be able to comfort those who are in any affliction with the same comfort with which we ourselves are comforted by God. And when we get to our journal portion, again, we always ask 2 questions. The first question is, what lies am I believing? And today it might be that I don't have a story. There's other lies that you might believe. And then the second question is, how would I act differently if I believed that God uses everything in my life for good and that my story matters? And then our devotional reading is an article called How to Tell Your Story of Hope. So when we figure out what our story is, how do we then go about sharing it with others? Well, it's actually a fairly simple process that sometimes people make into something much more difficult than it needs to be. So do you believe that God uses everything in your life for good? He absolutely can if we commit our ways to him, our life to him. He will take that thing from the past that was difficult for you, he did for me, and he will turn it into something good. My past includes a couple of divorces, which I'm not proud of, but they were out of my control, and God has used that. And so I have a story to tell. That's how my website began, was telling my story. But there's a little more to telling our story, and that's where the devotional comes in. I want to read to you some scripture from the book of Matthew, chapter 11. Now, when John in prison heard of the works of Christ, he sent word to his disciples, and he said to him, "Are you the expected one, or shall we look for someone else?" And Jesus answered and said to them, "Go and report to John what you hear and see. The blind receive sight, the lame walk, the lepers are cleansed, and the deaf hear, and the dead are raised up, and the poor have the gospel preached to them." You see, sometimes in our blindness, God speaks to us and he helps us see. And sometimes in our weakness, we stumble and fall, but God picks us up and helps us walk again, not necessarily physically, but emotionally and spiritually for sure. That is our story of hope. I hope you will read How to Tell Your Story of Hope, because you will get a lot of good information there. But you might wonder, well, why should I tell my story of hope? Let me just share that with you. This is just a little snapshot of the devotional, why you should tell your story of hope. There's three main reasons. One is you will encourage others. That is what I've been able to do for women who've been divorced. You also fulfill God's command. You see, he doesn't give us success and transition and transformation and all of the great blessings for us just to hold to ourselves. We're to share that with others. And the final thing is that it gives us personal joy. It gives us satisfaction. So there are three great reasons right there as to why we should share our stories. Tomorrow we will do another affirmation, and I hope that you will join us then. Be sure and like this video, subscribe to the channel, and comment or share. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.